take the video and I can like replay it on Instagram or restream it on Instagram if that's the case. So let's see. Yeah, because it doesn't look like it's showing up at all. Like none of the
Yeah, I'm
it
not seeing
just
it.
yeah. It's definitely showing up on Facebook. It's just not showing up on Instagram, and I don't understand that. But I guess we're not going to be able to figure that out. So let's see who is up in here. Actually, let me see if I can get over to my Facebook and see if I can like share the stream on.
Could you do you have a link for the stream? Because you could do a quick Instagram story to connect to the link that way.
Yeah. Copy video URL.
Hey,
So.
three eyes. I see three eyes are here.
Mm, mhm. Share to Instagram. Okay. Okay. Hey Norm. Hey Melanie. Just gonna wait a few moments, like kind of like people start to kind of come up in here.
People keep rolling in.
Hey Edward. You might, Edward, you might, because we've been trying to work out some technical difficulties for the last hour and a half. I've been trying to stream to Instagram. It has not been working. So I've been trying to go all over the place trying to get this to work, and it just has not been happening. So I'm gonna have to do some homework and figure out what um, what needs to be done in order for that to happen in the future. How are y'all doing? How's everybody doing? We're gonna in a few moments we're gonna talk about some stuff that we've both got going on, and then also we are gonna do some readings as well. So, mm, and actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my phone up, and I'm gonna be on Instagram simultaneously because I just can't.
Your lighting is much better than mine, babe.
All right, let's see. Okay. And if you want, you can put up your Instagram too, if you want, and you can like have it just like right there. There. You want to put your phone up? No. It's okay. All right. Here, I'm gonna hey everybody. Hey guys. All right, so I've got Instagram going here. Hey. Okay. Oh, that works out. Hello. Hey guys. Um if y'all are following me on Facebook and if y'all are following me on YouTube, jump over to Facebook or YouTube and join the live there because we've got a dual screen going. And so, actually, let's see if I can do it this way. Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yeah, I do have it this way. So, all right. Hey guys, if you're on Facebook and Instagram, hop over there because that way you can kind of join in on the
Look
fun.
what he's doing.
Let's see.
Technology. With these.
I, oh my god, what a mess, babe! What a mess! Oh my god, we're
Well, it's probably because these are multinational conglomerates that don't want to work well with each
oh
other.
my gosh,
That's the subject
a
of a whole other
mess,
live.
a mess. Hey guys, if you are on Instagram,
Do not.
go over to YouTube and Facebook. Go and follow the live on YouTube and Facebook, guys. Get your butts over to Facebook or YouTube, and follow me on follow either me or Blaine through our handles. But go over to YouTube or Facebook and follow me there, and then get on the live there, because that way it'll be easier for us to kind of keep track of everybody that's in here. Because I've been trying to connect both, and it's just not working, so I'm having to work around all that. So and it's been oh 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 what happened? There we go. I'm like, what happened? Okay. Um, so go over to. Okay.
This is a hall of mirrors.
This is a mess, babe. Guys, go
Yeah.
over to Facebook and Instagram, okay? I mean, go over to Facebook and YouTube. See you there. Okay. Okay, that's it. All right, so we are here. Hey guys, hey everybody. Hey Louie, hey Kim, Carol, Angie, Melanie. Oh my god, what a mess, guys. What a mess. What a mess. So yeah, hey, made it over here. Cool, awesome. Hey Sandy, hello Edward again. I blame Putin. Oh, I love that. I love it.
Listening.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we're gonna talk about what we've got going on, or what we've been having going on. Because we got a lot going on, guys. First, my book is out, y'all.
Look at
My
that.
book is out. It is an
Look what he
official.
did.
It's an official book. It's got actual material on there. Official book. So it's officially out.
Yes.
Yeah. And to go to it, just type my name in Facebook. Well, type my name in Amazon. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Barnes and Nobles. It's available on Walmart. So it's available on like all the major uh, retailers. And it comes out officially on May 6th, but the pre-sale is happening right now. So get your butts over and go and check it out.
Is it
And
just paper book, or is it also coming out
no,
ebook?
it is coming out ebook. So we've got a hardcover, we've got paperback, and then we have an ebook version of it coming out in 20 days. And then there will be an Audible version of it, because I've been having people asking me like, what about Audible? I'm like, Audible. I was like, all right. So we will have it on Audible as well at some point. Yeah. So that's the plan. It's just taking time to get that part of it done, because I know some of y'all prefer Audible. So thanks guys. Thanks for joining. Hey, thanks for coming in. All right. And then baby, what's your
Well,
news?
hold on. Do you want to? Can I ask you something about your book?
Yeah. You can
I
ask
mean,
me whatever you want.
maybe I know this, and maybe I've forgotten some of this, and maybe it'd be good for others to know.
Yeah.
So, how long did this project take you?
Mm-hmm. This was a 4-year project. Yeah, 4 years. Well, technically, I started this 6 years ago. I wrote about 6 chapters, and then I got stuck because a bunch of stuff started happening with my mom, and it
Right.
slowed everything down. So I didn't touch my book for about a year, and then the following year, that's when my break happened, and with my ex, and after that, that was an additional like bunch of challenges I have to work through. So there's a lot going on in my personal life. So I couldn't get to my book for a while, and I decided to just hire a ghostwriting agency to help me get it done. So that process started officially almost 2 years ago. Actually, I almost want to say this happened 2 years ago. This was in the summer fall of 2023. So that's when I started the book officially, and we finished all of the editing and writing over the holidays. And since then, it's just been getting all the other details together. So
Yeah.
working with the ghostwriting agency has taken the least amount of time, but they really worked hard to get it out in time for my birthday. Hmm.
Which is
May 6th.
good. I should
Yeah.
remember that.
Hmm.
Oh, I probably. Ooh, I should get a gift, right? I should probably get a
Right.
gift.
Right.
Um, so, baby, what was the inspiration? Like, why
Mm.
did you decide to do this now?
Mm.
Why? What did you want to accomplish with
I wanted to create a resource for people who were going to be very confused with their experiences if they started having psychic experiences. I also wanted to create a resource for people who wanted to develop their abilities because I truly believe that everybody has these abilities. Everybody can develop them, but most people don't truly understand how they work. And it took me a long time to figure out how these skills that we've kind of lost over the centuries, it took me a while to figure it out. And I wanted to write a book that gave people a shortcut because back when this was starting to happen for me and I was having these psychic experiences and seeing things and having the supernatural stuff go on, it didn't make any sense to me. And I had to go to the library. I was like reading everything I could get my hands on. And I was very confused because every teacher you went to, every book had a different opinion about this. Over the years, being the analytical person that I am, I just paid attention to the patterns, paid attention to the details when it came to what I was experiencing, what I was hearing from other people, um, trends, regular things that were occurring in ways that it was like, that's a repetitive pattern, that's a repetitive situation. And I just started making sense of all of it and taking notes, making sense, taking notes. And over time, and also in trying to help people as best as I could to learn how to use their abilities, I started coming up with a model for how this worked. So the book is about how this system of abilities operates within our psyche, our mind, and how we can tap into them using what we already use every single day, which is just our thinking brain. You
it?
don't have to go to a holy person on a mountain somewhere and uh, get sanctified and you know get a bunch of like holy oil on you. You don't have to go through all that. You don't have to go get specialized training. It does require learning and practice and repeating that process over and over and over again so you can get better at it. But it doesn't require anything special other than understanding what this is, how it works within each and every one of us, and what you can personally do to initiate and engage these abilities.
So it is around how you would instruct others, and I've taken some of your classes, and so I sort
Mm.
of know. But like, are there some juicy details in there? Or would you get some? Do we get some information about you? Like,
Mm.
what do we get? Some of your backstory? Is this?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of backstory. My I originally didn't want to make the book about me. I wanted to make it about the ability and how this works and just use my experience as a way to teach. But it became apparent to me after all of the meetings that I was having with my ghostwriter that we needed to include a lot more about my life, my history, my experiences from the get go, and also just my history as a human being on the planet. So that's what we did. We worked on that, and the first chapter, like it hits you hard with everything that kind of led up to me starting to have these experiences. So
Yeah,
it gives a really good foundation in understanding where I was energetically, mentally, emotionally, what that part of my life looked like when this all started to happen.
yeah. Um, well, I'm super proud of you. I think we're probably all super proud of you. And you mentioned where it is all available,
Mm-hmm.
and you
So,
mentioned it
yeah.
will be out on May 6th, which is
Yes.
Tuesday, May
Yeah.
6th.
Yeah.
And then a follow up with an e format in a couple of weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, guys, like I'm going to be doing a bunch of giveaways. So I'm going to be giving away uh, books, but so every time I get on live, I'm going to offer a free book to someone in the audience. So pay attention and keep track. And if you aren't not following me already, make sure you do follow me. Add me to your notifications so that way that you're notified when I get on. That way you can get in and try to win a free book.
I
Signed
mean, I'm
copy. A signed copy.
ooh. I'm excited. I've read some of it, and I'm excited to read. I'm excited to read the full thing, and I'm also excited to pay for it, even though I'm sure I will get a free copy.
Of course. Crazy. Yeah, I was talking to a bunch of friends last night about it, and they were like, "Oh, like, where can I buy it?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I'm giving you a copy. I'm signing it. So it's like I'm gonna give you a signed copy. You don't have to buy it."
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep. So what is new with you?
Well, I am my business is up and running, and I am reading tarot. I'm doing their online sessions, or
Mm,
like you do, I'm doing e-readings as well.
mm,
That this has been a strange kind of. I had this idea a few years ago,
mm,
and I kind of uh, put it on the back burner. Just thought like, well, maybe that's not a real thing. And then I met some crazy psychic in the desert about a year ago, who I did a reading for, and he is a very successful spiritual
mm.
practitioner, and he's like, you could do this for professionally. I'm like, no. And so it took him like almost a year of like really like nice, like supporting me and like poking me, and was like, because it's something I've been doing for friends and family for years, and I love to do it, and I do it. I don't know. I think I do it in a slightly different way than
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe than what I would expect.
Yeah.
Um, but it's something I love to do, and I've been doing a lot more readings lately, and
Yeah.
it's each one of them feels really exciting, and I can see with the person that I'm reading for how it just clicks some new things into their mind that was maybe already there, and helps them sort of move into their future with a little more intention, with perhaps a little more inspiration,
Yeah.
um, kind of just trying to understand their present in this moment. Um, and so to sort of act, yeah, years ago I had wanted to go back to school to be a therapist, and this is kind of feels like the right path for that. In that I just like I want to sit down with someone across the table, kind of get in, pull apart the knots,
Mm.
their spiritual, emotional, mental knots, and just kind of pluck at the strands and see what's what, and then
Yeah.
hopefully get them where they can move into their future, a little more successfully, a little beyond those blocks. Yeah, it's I'm looking forward to getting a lot more readings in, and just connecting with people like this.
Yeah. What was oh ah I'm having more glitchings. There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Um why what started you going down the route of tarot? Like what actually happened that made you want to go in this direction or that even like was calling to you when it came to tarot?
I had, a long time ago, college maybe, I had a friend who would do a read once in a while,
Mm,
and she was very new at it, and so it didn't really think much about it.
mm,
And then it was years ago, I was reading a book, and the character was getting a tarot read, and I was like, I have a friend of mine who studied tarot, who practices tarot. I was like, oh, I should get him to do a read for me, and
mm,
he didn't have time. I called him up. I was like, hey, can you do this? And he's like, I don't have time right now, but he pulled one single card for me,
mm,
and that single card, it hit the nail completely on the head of what was going on in my life and the problems I was dealing with, and just the negative stories I was telling myself, and all of the feelings, and it became um, like a shortcut, an emotional and mental shortcut. For once I understood the card, and once I understood how it was reflecting what was going on in my life, I could then act um, in spite of it. So there were times, it wasn't a nice card, and so
mm,
and it was perfect because I was not in a nice place in my life. I wasn't feeling it, and so every time I would in the future then start to get into a similar headspace, similar heart space, I would kind of get a flash of that card in my head, And it was just a good reminder of, hey, stop going down this path again. How can we choose a different path?
Mm.
And part of it is just because I'm a nerdy Taurus, and so I got way into it. And it was a little bit. I had some more time during the pandemic to really kind of go in deep on it.
Mm.
And I was doing multiple reads for myself every day. Like a couple of cards in the morning and a couple of cards at night, and there was just just such power to it. And the amount of times that I would ask a question in the morning and pull a card, and then at the end of the day, I would shuffle the cards. I would ask the same question, and the exact same card would pop up later in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be like, oh, my mind is rational, and these things have make sense, but like I don't know the mathematics on that. So it just sort of started to inspire me to look at things, look at messages differently, and I kind of call it. Some people will call it a god, some people will call it the universe, some people will call it spirit, some people will
Mm-hmm.
call it, I don't know, I call it capital M Mother Tarot. And so sometimes Mother, she just comes and she just like knocks on my forehead and she's just like, hey, here's a message to pay attention to. Um, and so I love it when I'm able to do that for others and to see, and I love to read for others. It's always harder to read for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love having others read for me because it's like holding a mirror up for someone and just be like, here's what's going on in your life right now. Get my hands there. Here's what's going on in your life right now. Are you seeing the things that you need to be seeing? And then seeing them, are you able to make choices now that will
Yeah.
affect how your future is?
Yeah.
Um, so I know some practitioners definitely connect to a sort of spiritual place, and some of it is about predicting future for them. I look at it more as how can we look at your present right now and kind of pull apart the threads and hold up that mirror to you so that you can see what's going on in your life, because sometimes we don't pay attention. We
Yeah.
just don't. We have all these things going on. It helps for someone else to just sit down with us, hopefully with a little bit of empathy, a little bit of intuition, and to just kind of like, hey, I'm seeing this right now
Yeah.
and this feels important. Are you seeing this? Do you agree? And so yeah, so I'm excited. So after a lot of good prodding and coaching and support from you around what to do, how to do it,
Mm.
also a lot of really great validation of he tells me I'm more psychic than I am, but I do think it's a really valuable tool to just work on your own stuff in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we're doing that. So I hope if anyone is interested, please check my website. You can find the services I offer, scheduler, and check out my Instagram, Blaine Reads Tarot on Instagram. Um, so yeah, that's what's going on. So
Yeah.
I am in the process of launching a new business for my birthday that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're both Tauruses, so we
go
are.
for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'm the earlier Taurus, but
Mhm. And some might say I'm the earlier on this planet Taurus, and that I
yeah,
have
yeah. You're the earlier on the much, much,
not much,
much.
not much. Just there's like three muches. That's
Mm-hmm.
all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, guys, if y'all want to ask questions, feel free to go ahead and put a question in the comment section. I am going to be looking at those. If you just want a message, a message from the tarot, then go ahead and ask for a message as well. And do you have more than one deck, babe?
I've got three decks in front of me.
So if you want a message from the tarot, then say one, two, or three, whichever deck you want. So deck one, deck two, or deck three, or deck four, and then
Just three.
just three. Sorry,
Yeah,
deck
yeah, because
three.
I think the fourth deck won't show so well on
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
camera.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So ask deck one, deck two, deck three, and then just ask for a message if you're wanting a message. You don't really have to ask a question. See what the tarot has to say. And if you want to ask a specific question about like something in the future, put your question in the comment section below, and I will try to ask. I will try to answer some of them as well for you guys. Um, Okay.
Tag team ratings. High five.
Wait. Me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's a covering up the camera. That's great. That's great camera work, Blaine.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got one. We've got Michelle White here. So let's add Michelle's. Oh, let's see. Oh, oh interesting.
Deck three. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious why the background is white. No, it's got to be black. Black. Okay, there we go. Let's do it that way. All right, so we got. I'm just gonna put it right there because that is all up in there. So, question from Michelle. Deck 3.
Okay. Okay. So it's the sun, which this is a very hold on. This reverse card angle. It's a very glossy card. So the sun. This is. I hope this resonates. This is a really positive card. This is that. It's very like high spiritual card. It is, the idea that everything is turning out good now. Everything that perhaps there were past battles. Sorry, I have to figure out this reverse thing. That there were past battles that you are getting over. It's also kind of hints at like a wholeness in unifying mind with spirit, with purpose. Yeah, it's about freedom and like freedom from troubles right now. So I hope that is resonating, like that your hard work has paid off and that you are like victory is close at hand. This is close to the end of the cycle of the major arcana. So we are getting toward the end of a cycle. Not quite there yet, but this is a good sign on the way as you're almost there.
Would you say that Michelle's so would it be more like if she had put some work or effort into something and she's kind of like waiting for the finish line? Is it like if there's a finish line coming?
Yeah, I mean it's generally seen as like a sign of accomplishment and also like a positive harbinger, that perhaps there were troubles. It's the card immediately before it is the moon, which kind of sometimes hints at duality, kind of hints at seeing things by a different light. And there's a lot of darkness associated with the moon, and so that the sun is the card that follows that. It's that no, everything is made clear in the light. Things are happy and sunny and warm, and it's just sort of like a freedom from worry. So I hope that is resonating.
Let's see. I've got okay. Go. Fervent. All right, Fervent. So you are asking, can I ask what are CT's feelings for me? You want to go first, babe?
Sure.
See what Tarot has to say about the energy of the connection.
Yeah, I'm guessing CT is another person.
Yeah, they're asking like a romantic relationship.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're not in a relationship yet, but they're getting there.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is one of those moments when maybe a card comes up that it does not feel good to receive, but that the way I look at tarot is that there's so many that all of the cards have so much meaning to them that while there is a lot of good in some, there's also shadow or sides to it. So you got the Three of Swords, which is it is often about heartbreak. It is about a little bit of grief. It's about sort of making peace with potential heartbreak. And so is asking around feelings that someone else might have. It seems like it's maybe not the best omen, but it is also it's swords. So it's the element of air, which is your mental realm. So this is really about your thoughts, how you communicate, how you see clearly. A sword is both a tool and a weapon. And so a sword can just as easily, you can skewer yourself on your own sword, much like our thoughts. Our thoughts can skewer us as much as they skewer someone else.
Hmm.
But what I love about this card, even though it seems like it's like a darkness about heartbreak, is that there's an idea that in life, the more heartbreak that we suffer, the more heartbreak that we go through, like it's I can't remember whose expression it is, but like cracks are what let the light in. So that if you have experienced heartbreak, this gives you the chance to be more human. It gives you that there's a greater humanity available to you that you can share with someone else if you have experienced heartbreak. Those who've never dealt with any adversity in their lives, they generally don't know how to help others. It's less human. I will also say that this is an air card. The swords are air, but there's so much water right now, like so much stormy water, that tells me that water is the suit of your emotional realm. And so it just tells me there's really quite a lot of stormy, deep, perhaps roiling emotions around this question. I won't say that it's a bad omen around their feelings. I just wonder if it speaks to you and your own heartbreak in the past, or the potential around your heartbreak around this, but that by feeling these things deeply, by experiencing these losses and pain, we are able to then bring more of ourself to future relationships.
Mm. Yeah. I agree. The first thing that I was thinking about when I saw your question was that I felt that their CT's attention and energy is elsewhere, meaning that I don't feel like they're as intentional with trying to build or put energy into the connection with you, either because they're still attached and connected to another individual or energy, or they're still being affected and influenced by this other connection. So they may not be in a place where they're available or able to really give them themselves. At the same time, sometimes we want to see a connection for more than what it is, and I think in this instance, you are wanting to put more into it. You're thinking there's more potential there than there may actually be. Again, because I think that there's another person influencing the situation with this individual. So my feeling is I'm not feeling confident that this connection will evolve into something that I think is going to feel fulfilling or validating for you emotionally and with your feelings and what you're wanting there. But I do think, I mean, if you are enjoying the connection that you have as is, if you're getting something out of it, then like just keep doing it. But for the most part, I'm kind of thinking this is really not going to go anywhere. And so I feel like their feelings aren't that deep because I don't feel like they're really investing in the energy of the connection. And I feel like they're distracted. So I agree with what Blaine was saying about the energy
And
of
just piggybacking on top of that, in that personal growth often comes through disappointment. I mean, I hate that old cliche that uh, suffering builds character,
yeah.
but that if this situation with CT is not working out, you acknowledging that, feeling it, all of the stormy emotions around it, leaves you open to the next. If this doesn't work out, leaves you open for the next person to receive a better, more evolved version of you.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Okay. Next question. Um, 7. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Vaughn, welcome. Okay. Edward. Here's Edward. So there we go.
All right, Edward. So this is a very glossy card. Hold on. And then I can't. Oh, yeah, yeah. I swear I'm much better when we're not. This is so. This is the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups, even though this one looks a little somber and a little moody, this one is actually Three of Cups. Again, Cups is the suit of water. That's your emotional realm, and the Three of Cups is all about community. It is it is often pictured as three figures pouring water into the same cup, and so it's around the idea of you get to enjoy, seek out fulfilling community relationships, friends, loved ones, family. It is all about this sort of celebrating of what we bring together emotionally and how it fulfills us through community, through other people. The Ace of Cups is like the purest sense of that. The two is around like generally around finding like partnership or like new love of self. But the three is about spreading that love out into a wider community. So I hope that if you're not already feeling like you have good community, good love, and like a good flowing water where people pour, like they fill each other's cups up, it should be that kind of feeling. That if you're not feeling that right now, I hope that is a sign that you will be feeling that more in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He also was asking, I said, Blaine, you just did a collab with another channel. Can't recall who. Please remind me.
Oh, it was Allie Miller, and it was Heart and Soul Connected. Oh, I should know this better. Wait, I can look at my email. That'll work. Yes, it was on Sunday, and I'm doing another one on this coming Monday. Um, the one I did on Sunday was with yes, Heart and Soul Connected. That one is up on YouTube, and then I'll be doing another one this Monday with Marina Shelton, and hers is Heart Centered Tarot.
Okay. Let's see. Julie. Um, Fernie, you were right in last reading that Joe and I would decide to work on our relationship. Do you guys see him continuing to work on our connection? Go for it, babe.
Okay.
What are you getting?
Okay, so it's the Seven of Swords, which, gosh, I will figure out this left right, I swear, at some point, probably at the very end of this spread. So the Seven of Swords, it is about a little bit about deception and about kind of doing the path that is a little sneaky. Um, Now, it is also, I also like to work with sort of just pure image interpretation when I work with people. And so we see someone who's carrying some swords, which swords are, again, from the mental realm. So that's sort of how we think, how we speak, how we communicate, how we perceive truth. And so they are leaving a few behind, and they're kind of sneaking away with some of their own thoughts. I don't know if that will resonate, but yeah, the seven is about cleverness and cunning, and there is also an element of, and I kind of around this question of working on a relationship, but there is an idea of distance in a relationship, like the difference between independence and isolation. So it does, and a seven is an odd number, which the odd numbers tend to speak to imbalance or kind of movement, energy in that way. That the even numbers tend to indicate more balance. So around this question of the work on your relationship with your partner, it feels like maybe you guys have more work to do. It also, as I'm thinking of it, like maybe one or both of you are not sharing all of your thoughts. You're keeping some of those thoughts in reserve, or also how you communicate. So are you guys being fully honest in how you communicate with each other? But this sort of general sense from the card I would get is that, yeah, maybe you guys have some more work to be doing.
I agree with that as well. My thinking around it, if I were going to kind of like pan ahead, I keep thinking that there's a friction point in July. And when this comes up, it's going to feel like you have to make this decision again. It's one thing when someone wants to put energy and work on a relationship, especially on the issues in the relationship, but then it may not take a whole lot to kind of dissolve that hard work. if an old pattern emerges or an old behavior emerges. So if you've been like, you know what, we're going to work on things, we start going to counseling, we start working with a therapist, we're doing something to make things better. And if one of the individuals in the relationship ends up stepping away from those agreements and those boundaries, and they just, it's almost like the work didn't matter, it feels like there's a limit to what can happen at that point with the progression of the relationship and with things getting back on track. Here's the thing. I think that's where the issue, I think that's what you can work on to kind of get around this: boundaries, like having very clear expectations and boundaries on what is okay and what's not okay. Because you cannot clean up a yard if you don't even know where the boundaries of the yard start and end. You might be out in the middle of the street trying to clean up the street. There's no grass there, right? So get your butt on a yard, pay attention. What are the boundaries? What are the limits? What are you doing? And so if you guys can get clear on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve together and set very clear boundaries and expectations, this is going to be like a real conversation y'all are going to have. It's not enough to say, oh, we're going to work on it. Like, it has to be more than that. It has to be like, no, are we really going to work on it? Really working on it means, okay, these things are acceptable within the framework of our relationship. These things are not. And because these things are not, if we start having hiccups that start to bring us in that direction again, we need to stop, acknowledge that, get ahead of it, talk about it, communicate, and then understand why that's happening or what's going on that's triggering that to begin with. So as of right now, I feel like the intention is there to work on it, but I keep feeling like one of you isn't going to stick to boundaries because I don't feel like boundaries are going to be clearly set, and it's going to trigger more of a reoccurrence of what's just been happening. So get clear with the boundaries is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, again, like swords, it's not, if cups came up, that tends to be the suit of emotional and love. But it was swords, which is about communication and how we think. And then, babe, I don't know if the card influenced you, but it was the Seven of Swords, and you said it was July, which is the seventh month.
Oh,
So,
interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah, see, the number left my mind. Me and math, like
right?
a number. I
Yes,
don't
I do.
remember.
Yes, I do.
See. All right, Patrick. In my dream, I knocked on a door. Oh, so he's talking about a dream.
Right.
So he said, in my dream, I knocked on a door and part of the house collapsed, and it happened again with a couple of others until the last house where I had helped them fix it. Um, okay, interesting. So in this dream, he knocked on the door and it collapsed, and it kept happening. By the way,
Okay.
he's a contractor, so he does contract work.
Oh, okay, okay. So, God, yeah, we'll figure this out at some point. So this is the Chariot, which I can't quite get. Oh yeah, okay, because I didn't figure out my lighting well. So the Chariot is about.
It
the
looks
Chariot,
fine. I can see it. We can see it.
the Chariot is about. It's interesting that you mentioned this as a dream, because I would even point to, like, look at that really clear line between light and dark,
Mm-hmm.
so that in this instance, I sort of take it that your mind is up here in the dark. So all of this, this is around how you're thinking in the dark, i.e., at night in your dreams, and it's not during this daylight hour. But the Chariot is about mastery and control. It's you bringing together all of the elements, and you, even these horses are heading in the opposite directions, and you are still in control, and you are looking at us. So you are the one in control. And so I feel like this is that while the dream may feel like horses pulling in opposite directions, and um, it may be feeling a little uncertain, it feels like you are still in charge. And so if it's a thing that's um, causing anxiety for you, I would just say you are in control of these horses. Like, this is and it's again from the major arcana, so it is a big sort of sign from the spirit of, like, you got this. It may feel like it's pulling you in different directions, but you are the one who controls them. It's very, like, a positive card about victory after struggle. Like, there is an element of harmony and balance. So I feel like it's good. And
Yeah.
if the dreams are bothering you, you got it. Is my
Yeah.
sense.
I think that what's happening in your dream, Patrick, is that you've got a lot of fear around your reputation being tarnished by people that you've done work for. And so when you're knocking on the door, what are you doing? Essentially, you're going up, you're asking to engage with others, but you're also trying to connect with others. But because it's tied to a house that collapsed, it means that there might be a job that you've either recently worked on or a job that you're working on that where there's been an interaction that has not served you or has not come from a good place. And so, because of that, there's either fear, a lot of your fear building up around the situation about that turning into something that's going to affect your reputation with other people through word of mouth, or it means that there is, in fact, information that is affecting your business, or that someone is kind of going off and mouthing off and saying whatever, and it is having an effect on people's perceptions of you, or you might be seeing that changing with jobs that previously might have been coming up and then suddenly they dried up or they're changing, and they're not as they're not there. So what I would say is if you start to notice jobs going away or just a kind of a decline, pay attention to who you last dealt with, who was a drama queen or created issues around some of what you were doing, and then find out if they have been going around to some of the other people that you had jobs with, and see if there's anything that you can do to work directly with them. And because I mean, at the end of the day, it's word of mouth, and a person can have an opinion about you. If they didn't like something, they could work that out with you. It's not their place to go and try to like bash you and kill off your livelihood. So, um, Bridget, I would also appreciate a card pulled. No particular question. Well, too many questions.
All right, here we go. Oh, okay. Highly glossy card. All right, so that's the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, again, from the Major Arcana, so a big sort of message from the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. This one, I love this one because it invites us to um, flip ourselves over. You can sort of see this person is not necessarily upset, angry. They've kind of put themselves in this position. There is, it's kind of connected to the old story, the old Norse story of Odin, the father of all of their gods, that he hung himself on the world tree for 9 days, I think, as a sort of period of self-sacrifice, and he actually gained knowledge by that. So it speaks to if there's too many things on your mind, too many questions. It tells me that you are being invited to shift your perspective, see the world from a new perspective, perhaps upside down, as it were. And that might help with wading through some of these questions that are going on. But it does also ask you to sort of succumb to your position. It's a little bit about suffering, as we talked about the Three of Swords earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There is an element of learning through suffering. And so if you're feeling a little, if there are too many questions going on and you can't get the answers to them, I would say that you're being invited to see something from a new perspective, succumb to your position, and just trust that if you're feeling like you're suffering now, you will gain wisdom through that.
Yeah. I would add to that. I think that you have to pay attention to your relationships and reassess who's drawing too much energy from you, because I feel like you've made yourself too available, or you've also not been clear with your boundaries, and because of this, people might be taking advantage of you or trying to use you in a way where it reminds me a lot of my mom. And my mother is the kind of person where I love her, but if I give her a finger, she's gonna rip off the rest of my arm. You know, she's gonna want a lot more. And as much as I have my issues with my mother and I have very set boundaries, at the same time, I have to make myself unavailable. I have to just not answer that phone call because she's not following the rules that we have, the agreements that we have. Hey, I can only talk to you on the weekends. Talking to you every day isn't going to work out. So um, you have to set some boundaries, but you also just have to keep keep yourself from making yourself too available to other people. That way they don't start taking advantage of you and thinking that they can always ask you for favors or ask you for help.
Yeah, kind of just piggybacking onto that. If that's feeling true around all the relationships, I think the card's just saying, hang back and pause
Mm,
and try to see things from a new perspective.
yeah. Um, let's see. We've got Nicole here. Can you guys help me with anything, advice, perhaps?
Okay, so I pulled the Queen of Coins, the Queen of Pentacles for you. And so that is Pentacles is the suit of Earth. So that is around the energy of our material world. Sometimes that is about work. Sometimes that's about money. Sometimes that's about our bodies. Sometimes that's just about how our environment immediately around us. And the Queen is she has mastery over these elements. And there's a very kind of Mother Earth aspect to her. So now I don't know what's going on, but maybe it's saying that you are this sort of Mother Earth figure, that you are in control of your environment, you are in control of your money, your work, your body, and you are able to provide for others in that way. Or perhaps it's suggesting that you might need that figure in your life right now. You might need to be reminded of that energy right now. It's a very sort of grounded, nurturing energy. Um, and so it might be that you are missing that right now. And just as a reminder from something else that, like, it's there, it's available to you. You can be the queen yourself. Um,
Hmm. I think that sometimes you might find yourself being a little too fixated or focused on coin. And what I mean by that is like the progression of your finances or getting more money or making more money. Sometimes you can't just focus on the money because your goals are not dependent on money. In other words, when I first started my business, this was like what, 10 plus years ago. Obviously I was leaving a job. I was leaving Starbucks and I was going to be doing this full time. And that was scary as hell. And what I decided to do was I decided to just like take it one step at a time, focus on the work, focus on the work, focus on the work. And that stuck with me is just focus on the work, the rest will come. Focus on the work, the rest will come. Because when we focus on money, all we're doing is amplifying the energy of lack and scarcity. We're affirming to the universe, I don't have enough. I do not have enough. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need to make more money so that my problems can go away or so that I can be better and safer and not having to have life's problems. Unfortunately, knowing enough wealthy people that I've known, money doesn't make your life easier and money comes with its own set of problems. And I would say to you, it's not the end all be all. It's important. It can help to reduce some of your stress and anxieties. But at the end of the day, there's a level of saturation that you can get to when it comes to earning money that can make your life better. There's a level of saturation. There's a limit to what that will do for you. You still have to focus on the other parts of your life. You still have to focus on the relationships. You still have to focus on the energy of the people that you work with or the kind of environment that you work with. You still have to focus on those things because those things reflect and are affirming also your feelings of scarcity. So if you are surrounded by people who just take and take and take financially from you or are not giving in return, you are giving away your energy, you're giving away your power, you're giving away your financial resources and your ability to have abundance for yourself. So I feel like you need to be selfish in a positive and healthy way, but don't get so fixated on the money that you're making because that's not going to fix everything that is not working in your life. You need to pay attention to the other areas as well.
yeah, and if that is ringing true, then I would say the Queen of Coins here is as a reminder that she doesn't just collect coin for the sake of being rich. She works, collects her coin so that she
Mm,
can nurture others, and so she can also nurture her own garden. So, like, just to make money for the sake of making money, it's more make money so that you can have a rich, full life.
mm,
It's about where are you putting your energy. Make sure
yeah,
that it is around spiritually aligned things that feel right to you. It isn't just the rat race for coin.
yeah, yeah. I saw when I was growing up, like my uncle, he was a doctor and he kind of like separated himself from the rest of the family and lived in a different city. And really wasn't that interested in trying to spend as much time with the family, because the family over time, and when he became a doctor and started doing really well for themselves, they were just money grubbers. They were wanting to take advantage of him and get something from him. He didn't know what it was like to just receive. So that was an interesting thing that I noticed about him. But also, when a person is only focused on wealth, then there's such a deficiency that is created in these other areas of their lives. And I lived that way in my life for years. I always thought if I just make more money, my problems will go away. And they didn't. My mother's still my mother. I still have to deal with taxes, just a lot harder. It's a lot harder now to deal with taxes for me, and yeah, I get to benefit from my hard work, and I get to live a good life. But at the end of the day, I still am needing to I still require the maintenance and the emphasis on my relationships, on my friendships, on my family connections, on my own sense of well-being and my own health as a human being, not being like bombarded by the news every single day. I mean, you kind of ignore or avoid what's happening in the world, but you don't necessarily have to like be glued to the TV every single minute of every single day, because that's not healthy either. Trying to make a difference, if you want to make a difference in whatever it is, but that doesn't mean that you have to necessarily be paying attention to what's on the news 24/7. That it's exhausting, and it can become very, very unhealthy for our, it can become toxic actually for us.
Mhm.
So random rant, but um, Susie, let me go.
Okay, Susie. So this is the Two of Cups, and it's a very high gloss card. Oh, it's big. Um, so the Two of Cups is about a little bit about partnership, but it's like that there is a connection in your life. Value that connection, nurture that connection. This one is sometimes pictured as two cups together, partnership, friendship, romance, even. Um, it's about valuing the love
Mm.
in yourself and nurturing that in yourself, and then you can give that valuing love to a partner or to a best friend or to a family member or to even a pet, even a beloved pet. But yeah, this one is very much about the connection of two souls and nurturing that, and like it's like cosmic affinity. So I
Mm.
love that for you.
Mm. I wonder, Susie, if you are learning how to love again for the very like, we go through our life's experiences, and we have trauma, we have breakups, we had heartbreaks, we have all of that. um and through all of that, it's really easy to shut down and not want to give anyone a shot, and not want to give anyone an opportunity to have an influence on you and effect on you. And so I think that you are desiring for love. You're desiring for a deep and profound connection. And you might have found some of that in your friendships and in some of your family connections. But when it comes to romance and relationship, I wonder if you're having to learn to either love again, whether it's loving the same person in a new way, in a different way, in a way that is different from what you originally had experienced, or if it's actually learning to open up to the idea and the emotion of love with others in a way that is super profound and deep. Um, so I wonder if if you're going through a period of transformation, and also just being learning to be open again, because it's something you have to learn. It's not easy. Like by default, just want to shut down if you get hurt, but and it's painful to open up again, because you are taking the risk of being, of being hurt and of pain. But every human relationship in our lives will come with pain at some time or another, whether it's intentional or unintentional. So I would say give it a shot. Open up again and let people be there for you, or let people be there for you in the way that they can be there for you, and not necessarily in the way that you want them to. Just acknowledge them for who they are.
And also just remember to show show yourself that love. That's sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
hardest part, is that
Mm-hmm.
we want it so bad from someone else, that because we're not giving it to ourselves in that way, we don't value ourselves in that way, we don't pour our own water for ourselves.
Yeah. So we've got Lewis here.
right, Lewis. Okay, that's a little crazy. So we got the Chariot again. I swear I shuffled. I swear I buried it in the deck. So Lewis, you're also being shown. I don't know what's going on in your life, but you're also being given this sort of positive sign that you are in control of it. It may feel like you're being pulled in different directions at times, but you are the one who is in control of this chariot. It's a really positive sign. Again, a big message. You get to assert your will. You get to harness all of your forces. It's all about autonomy. So I hope that this really is resonating with you right now.
Hmm. Lewis, um, I think you got to pay attention to your health. Um, and if you're already doing so, then this is just going to continue to dominate a lot of your thoughts and energy around stability, around um, feeling. Over the years, I've met a lot of people. Let me kind of rework this because I kind of want to share this in a different way. Over the years, I've met a lot of people who they are dealing with a health condition or an issue, and it takes over their life, and it consumes every part of their being. And they also start to either they settle into the feelings of despair, of disconnect, of well, my life is over. They settle into this sense of like I can't live the way that I was before. I'm not the same person I was before, so I guess I don't exist anymore, or life just isn't worth living. And that can cause people, again, it's very similar to what I was saying for Susie, like shut people down and close people off. And you still matter. And any health issues that are coming up for you, especially when it has to do with the liver function and also the digestive system and the prostate area. Those are a few areas that I want you to pay extra attention to. But if you start having more stuff coming up in that area, I feel like it's going to cause you to want to shut down and to feel like disconnected from the world, and it could cause you to like go into despair, go into depression, go into a sense of feeling like you're got one foot in, one foot out. Really think
Great.
about really think about your intention and what you're doing right now. Yeah, yeah. And it's like a faded, like when you look at each horse, it's like faded in the background. You can kind of see through them, which and it's like one horse is going this way, one horse is going that way, but the horse is the tool that takes us to where we need to get to, and the body is the tool that takes us where we need to get to sometimes. And those of us who are older or getting older, who are starting to have health stuff that we have to address and deal with, it's easy to get caught up in that and to feel just about it. So, um, got Jennifer Annette.
Okay, Jennifer. So this is another example of when a not always great card comes up. So this is the Ten of Swords.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, and those are 10 swords sticking out of a figure. Um, so it looks dark. It's meant to look dark. So this is the 10. Tarot is all about cycles and cycles within cycles. And
mm,
so each of the minor arcana suits are numbered ace through 10, much like playing cards. And so that represents a cycle. So 10 is the close of the cycle. So while it looks really dark right now, and this is telling me that maybe and because it's swords, this is around your mental realm and your mental energy. So maybe your thoughts are a lot right now, or how you communicate, or how you're not able to see truth. Maybe that all feels too much right now,
mm,
and so it invites us. You can sort of see it's hinted at that there is a new dawn breaking. It's very much the idea of it's always darkest before the dawn. And so this is, while maybe this isn't the nicest thing to get and to see, it does give us the choice of closing out whatever cycle we're in right now. You get to choose how you move into the next cycle.
mm-hmm,
And so the next cycle around the swords is a new way of thinking, is a new way of seeing, a new way of communicating. And so maybe the ways that you've been thinking, seeing, communicating haven't been serving you, and perhaps are weighing you down, and they're nailing you to the floor. um, then it's inviting you to see that there is hope, that you're almost at a change point, and that you can wait for the dawn to come. It is coming.
Mm-hmm.
So you can sort of trust that every night always ends. Even the darkest part of the night, always the dawn comes.
Mm. I wonder if she is having some weird challenges come up around romantic relationships.
Mm.
Um, and in a way, it's like feeling disappointed. It's like whenever what it reminds me of, Jen, is like the idea of like when you are expecting a whole lot and you are wanting to put in the energy, but then you're only seeing so much back. And I wouldn't say it's not going to work. It's disappointing. What I'm reminded of when I think of this is when I in one of my prior relationships, it was important for me to have the person that I was with be there for me when I was going through really difficult moments. And there were times when I really needed a person to show up, and sometimes they either just couldn't be there emotionally. Yeah, either they couldn't be there emotionally, or they didn't have the skills necessary to be there and nurture the connection, but also just be present for me. It's like I remember a few months back when you were here, babe, and I had a really rough call with a client who just like was trying to like eat into me because I was saying things about her son's future that she didn't agree with. She had a very specific idea for what her son was going to become, who he was going to be in the world. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not reading you, I'm reading your son. And this is what I'm seeing. But even in all of that, there was a lot of misunderstanding from her, but she was just coming at me. And that day I was tired, I had a full day of readings, I was exhausted. And then just reading just the nasty vitriol of her email just really got to me. And I have a pretty thick skin. I can take a lot of that kind of energy, but in that day it just I was done. And I remember coming to you and I was just like crying. I was just crying, and you didn't try to make it better, you just held me and you let me cry. And that's what I needed. Like I just needed you to be present. And I hadn't had that on a regular basis. And that's not something that I experienced a lot of in my last relationships. And that was something that I needed. And you were there and able to provide that. And so Jennifer, when I'm talking about these challenges, sometimes I think what you're expecting and what you see as potential doesn't exist. It's just what is. So whatever this person can give, whatever they can offer, whatever they're able to do, whether by choice or because that's just the training, the life, the behavior that they've decided to exhibit, then that's it. Like that's it. So you may need to be realistic and more practical with your expectations. Um, and if you approach it in a different from a different perspective, then you might be able to resolve some of the issues that are happening there.
Yeah, kind of being weighed down by thoughts that aren't serving you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're stuck on the ground,
Yeah.
in potentially in pain, but know that you can clear those away and start something fresh.
Mm-hmm. See, you've got Suzanne here.
All right, Susan. Oh, Suzanne, you're one of my absolute favorites. Um, and you've probably seen it on T-shirts and tote bags. It's the Magician, and the Magician is it is the beginning of the major arcana, but it is all about creation. It is that the magician can use willpower, similar to the willpower that's in the
Mm-hmm.
chariot. The magician has control of all four of the elements and has the magic to create anything from will. So it is about creating. It's about um, willpower and manifesting, and it is the beginning of the major arcana, and so it hints at you have limitless potential ahead of you. And so it is such. I always love when this one comes up in reads because there's no bad way to take this one. I don't think like this is all about like you have the power. You already have all of the tools at your beck and call right now. You have all of them right in front of you, and you are about to create some magic with it. So just trust in yourself and follow your own dreams, your own ideas, your own creativity.
Mm. The last time I read for Susanna, the last time I read for Susan, I was feeling a lot of power energy coming into her life, and I kind of talked about a few things that I thought were going to be coming up. So I can totally see that energy coming up for you, especially around monetary control, like having better control or management of some financial things that have come up that you just have to get addressed in a different way. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be like at a lack with resources, but it might mean like, oh crap, there's this tax stuff that's changed and now this doesn't fall into this category and having to like get this all sorted out. It's got that vibe to me. So it's almost the idea of like trying to get better control of finances, and how things are going, especially with fees or expenses that are not expected.
But again, about self-sufficiency and confidence.
Mm.
Like you got this. So
Mm.
if that's
Oh,
if that's
she'll,
ringing through,
yeah, she's gonna get it done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Hmm.
Ooh, okay. So we saw the sun earlier, Stephanie. This is the moon, and I will figure out this camera at some point, probably. So the moon is interesting. It is, without knowing any context. So the moon is about seeing things from a different light.
Mm.
There is a bit of like spookiness to it. It is about the unknown. It's about fears and mysteries and illusions and dreams. It's very much about sort of the inner world of dreams, and like the subconscious rising to the conscious.
Hmm.
So the moon is interesting because if you think of the moon, the light is different every night. Every night it changes. So every night you will see something different, and it diminishes and it goes away. And the moon is even reflected light, much as it's reflecting my desk light right now. Um, and so it asks you to view your surroundings, view your environment right now in a different light. So again, a little bit similar to the Hanged Man, that it's asking you to just like stop, take a pause, and look at things around you in a light that maybe doesn't feel familiar, and
Hmm.
sometimes maybe doesn't feel comfortable. But don't let fears lead you astray.
Also, Stephanie, I wonder if you're trying to have a baby or if there's some fertility stuff that you've been dealing with, because I before Blaine said anything, I kept seeing the sun. But I was seeing the old traditional sun, from the Rider Waite, where you've got the little child on the horse, and that's actually one of my symbols. Back in the day, when I used to use tarot in the beginning of my of learning my abilities and trying to use the symbols to explain what I was getting. The sun card, when I would see that, it always meant to me a child or a baby or baby energy. And so before Blaine said anything, I was seeing that in my mind. I was thinking of baby energy, and I was like, I wonder if there's. And then he said he mentioned the sun card, even though that's not what you got. You got the moon card, and I was like, I wonder if there's some fertility stuff going on, or if you're trying to figure out if you want to move forward with having another baby. It could also technically mean that you've got some issues going on with your reproductive system that you need to pay attention to. I do think that there are some fibroids or fibrocysts that you might need to pay attention to. This might actually come up twice over time, but I do think that's something that you might need to pay attention to. Um,
I'd even say from the image here to piggyback a little bit. So again, the moon is a symbol of femininity, traditionally, archetypally,
mhm,
and particularly the moon is connected to cycles.
mhm,
And you can see this figure here. She is like that. There's a hand on the heart. It kind of suggests a yearning to me, but she also, I will say, looks very strong, and she's meeting the challenge. So, as Bernie's talking about perhaps potential difficulties, I would say maybe let this be like strong like the moon. Like if this is ringing true, that you can get through some of this, and this is hinting around a sort of powerful feminine.
mhm.
All right. All right, Samantha. So we have the 10 of coins. And the 10 of coins, again, similar to the 10 of swords that we just saw, the 10 is the closing out of a cycle. And so around coins, it's the suit of earth. So again, that is your material environment. Maybe that's money, maybe that is your job, maybe that is your body, maybe that's your environment. But the 10 is about like you have worked hard and you have collected your resources, established roots. Like there's elements of longevity in there, and like that sort of family lineage, family dynasty kind of thing. That you have juggled responsibilities, you are able to control it. I'm sorry, I'm turning it the wrong way. It's around being a provider, but it does ask us. This kind of came up when we were talking about the Queen of Coins. There's the lesson in there, like don't just collect money for the sake of money. Grow something that is greater. Grow more than just money. Work on nurturing family. Work on nurturing relationships. Work on nurturing wisdom. True riches come from all of these things, not just the coin that we have. But this feels like a pretty positive card to see right now, particularly if you're having questions around money and work. But yeah, and also just to point out that it's an even number. I cannot figure out this camera to save me. It's an even number, and even just looking at the image, it's very balanced. It's very symmetrical from side to side, and it kind of hints at this sort of hidden bubble within a kind of larger stone structure. So yes, you have worked hard, and you're seeing the wealth of your work, but don't just value money. Value true riches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually um got it. Stephanie was saying that she found out today somebody was pregnant. Um, got it. Yeah, Stephanie, I know you're in menopause. I still want you to get checked for fibroids or fibrocysts. If you've already had them and you've had a partial or hysterectomy, then obviously you've already dealt with them. But pay attention to fibrosis because I'm still picking up on that energy, and that would be affecting that system. Even though you're already in menopause, does not matter. My mother got a fibroids and she was in menopause, so look into that the next time you go to the doctor. Um, Coming back to Samantha. So Samantha, I was thinking when I saw the card, I was like, oh, she's about to get money. She's about to get money. So I'm thinking you're probably going to either get a raise or you're about to see an increase in your income level, which is a good thing. I'm actually thinking this might be a trend for the next 3 or 4 months. I also think that around October there is a switch with the source of income that you have. So whether that means that you're going to another job or you're starting a new project at the time that's going to produce more money for you. I actually kind of want to say it's two things at the same time because I'm kind of thinking there's two things that are going to be producing income for you around October. So it feels like there's an expansion of income coming in later this year, especially around October, but you may start to see that building up over the next 3 or 4 months. Um, let's see.
All right, so ah, Ace of Wands. So wands are the suit of fire, and so this is like the spark of creativity. Spark of fire is our energetic realm. What lights us up, inspires our creativity, our instinct, our passion. So that we have this new. This tells me that like there's potentially a new project, a new thing that you're going to do, a new thing that's going to motivate you. It's the fun. It's like a little kid holding a sparkler, like their first sparkler. It's like that's so exciting, like this new fire energy we don't know what to do with. It's all about creative potential here and where you're going from there. So whatever it is, either something new has come in or something new is about to start, but you're going to be really focused on like a new project, a new path. Sometimes this kind of hints at travel and wanderlust, and so maybe it's a new passion for travel. For there's like just so much fire, just like burns fast, so it's about new and exciting. And so I loved it. It feels like a really sort of positive way of starting something new.
Mm-hmm. Fred, I keep thinking that you're going to have to take more control of a situation with the family. or with people that you're close to, I feel like you're gonna have to step in and take more control over a situation. The way I want to describe this is like it reminds me of conversations that I've had with clients over the years, where like if something's going on in the family, their parents live elsewhere or their family lives elsewhere, and they like for example, I'm in New Mexico, my mom's in Houston, and a couple of years ago I had to get way more involved with her stuff because it was out of necessity. So I feel like there might be some responsibility or some new obligations or feelings of responsibility that are going to be coming up with your family over. I want to say it either has to do with some issues around their living situation or legal issues that may come up around their legal situation or home. So I'm thinking there's something going on there that may come up, and you might have to take control or get involved and be more um, directly engaged with them about that.
And if that's ringing true, then I think that Ace of Wands is telling you be bold. Don't necessarily like it's
Yeah.
encouraging you to act.
Yeah. Sometimes like especially those of us who have to deal with like that kind of stuff, we have trouble telling people what we're going to do. Like, okay, this is what we're doing. It's like I've had experiences where I had to disagree with family over what I wanted to do in certain situations versus what they wanted me to do. And I just had to just do what I wanted to do because that's what I was going to do. So,
Or sometimes there's just too much discussion and nothing ever gets done. And
yeah.
so sometimes you just need someone to act and just to take care of it, start the ball rolling, and take care of others in that way.
Amy.
Maybe. Okay, so we have our coins again. We have our 5 of coins. And so, Amy, I hope this isn't. So, the 5 of coins speaks around issues of poverty, but not necessarily always poverty in money. It sometimes is, again, this idea of spiritual poverty. It talks about being in a place of need.
Mm,
And the nice thing, I mean, while that's not maybe if that's true, that's not nice to hear. It does. The lesson in this card is also that if you're in a place of need, if you're feeling a place of lack, a place of poverty, that help is literally within arm's reach. There is sanctuary and there is help with right next to you. I don't know if you can tell this. These figures are focused really down on where they are. They're looking at their feet. They're not seeing that there's help just nearby, and or if they're seeing it, they're not asking for it. They're not acting. So, if this idea of lack of resources,
mm,
whether it's money, whether it's spiritual resources, whether it's whatever, it does encourage you that like there is help is available. You have to ask for it, and it's closer than you think.
mm. She reminds me, I feel when I see Amy's energy, she reminds me of me being a control freak. Like I feel like I can be the one taking.
What?
I know, like
This
I
is the
can.
first time hearing of that.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna get a good taste of it later. So, but yeah, I am a control freak. Okay, I'm not supposed to use that term control freak, right? I'm supposed to use another term, but I'm a control freak, and I'm a proud control freak because I've had to be to survive and to thrive in my life. With that being said, sometimes those of us who are control freaks, who have a habit of wanting to just take complete ownership of all the issues going on, we don't know how to ask for help or let people be there for us, which is what
Right.
I've had to learn a lot of recently with my mom and my family, helping me with some of the stuff that she's got going on. So I think you need to let people be there for you and like ask for help or ask people to pull their weight. You don't have to do everything.
Right.
Make people accountable to themselves because, if they're going to benefit from it as well, and if they can contribute, then do the best you can to make them accountable.
Okay. So, wow, we're getting a lot of tens. There's a lot of completion energy happening here. All right, so that is shiny. Hard to see, and I can't figure out the camera. That's the 10 of wands. So, Dominic, this one hints at you're taking on too much. That you are perhaps overburdened. You are carrying too much weight, you're carrying too much other people's loads, you've lost touch with your own fire. Again, this is the suit of fire, so you've lost touch with your own passion, your own creativity, your own life force, because you're just dying under the weight of all of this other stuff. So this is a 10, so it's a close of cycle. So it's asking you, if this is ringing true, if you are feeling burnt out and overburdened, simplify as much as you can. How can you reconnect to that Ace of Wands that just came up? How can you reconnect to that spark of fire, that spark of creativity, that spark of passion and instinct? Because you're getting bogged down here, and you can't. You're not. It's hard to. You can't manage. You can't do anything. When we're burned out, we can't do anything. We can't get anything done.
Yeah. I Dominique, I feel like you're it's also coming up in the same way. Not necessarily family, but I think the people around you expect too much from you. And I think that you struggle a lot with depression. And I also think that you struggle a lot with being able to set boundaries with people. And because of this, I feel that sometimes you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to feel uncared about, unloved, and as if people just don't value your efforts and worth. And I think that you need to start expressing yourself. It doesn't mean that you can go and fix those people and change their minds or change the way that they behave with you. But I do think you can start to express yourself. And if people are open to hearing what you have to share and hearing what you have to say and also hearing what you need, um, the people who really do care for you or care about you are going to be there for you. They're going to change, or they're going to try to accommodate what you need from them. Um, but you need to start feeling and expressing those feelings. Um, and you, babe, I mean, you're whenever like I'm going through something and I'm emotionally like not sharing, you're like, "What's going on? Why aren't you sharing?" And I'm just like, because I'm not used to crying over spilled milk. And I feel like that's Dominique's problem as well. Not used to making a big deal about things, and things just go too far and go too long, and she's just feeling like I'm done.
Yeah, this is the 10 from another deck, and just you can sort of see that they're just taking on too much.
Yeah,
You can't get anywhere holding it all in, holding it for everyone else. You have to. We've talked kind of a recurring theme like around boundaries. Like we have to draw our own boundaries sometimes, and this is an energetic boundary.
hmm,
Your energy, your fire energy, is going 10 different ways. Um, and so it's just asking you to simplify, not carry it for everyone else, if that's
yeah.
what's happening.
All right, we're gonna do a couple more. Let's see, go.
I love it. You guys are keeping my fingers nimble. All right, Caddy. Ooh, this is a fun one. If I could get it in the screen. This is Justice. So this is again from the Major Arcana. So this is a big message from Spirit. Um, Justice is about cause and effect, and that idea of justice in the scales and keeping things in balance. It speaks that you can see the truth. You can just see things objectively. There's a lot of clarity and wisdom in this card that you have weighed them out. That every action has an equal reaction, and you could see that. So, like fair decisions will result in fair results. Um, and then it also asks us as to act like justice and do the things that honor our values. Now, it's not always the easy thing. The easy thing is almost never the thing that honors our values, but you have like to be the change you wish to see. To quote, I can't remember what I'm quoting now, but this is telling me that you're getting a big message that if you're not seeing things clearly now, you're being encouraged to, like Lady Justice, look at things blindly and weigh them out fairly, and then make your decisions from there.
Mm. I'm thinking you're gonna have to refinance a loan or get some sort of debt or loan modification because it may not work in the way that you initially planned for, and some things have changed since then. So I'm thinking that around July, maybe August, you're going to be making some changes to either some debts or making a loan modification or refinancing to make it easier for you.
So yeah, and then piggyback on that, then maybe that is the weighing out. You're seeing with a clear. You're being asked to see with a clear eye and weigh
Mm-hmm.
out that decision objectively.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Justice doesn't use her heart; she just weighs it out as it is with the scales.
Mm.
All right, Candy, let's do this deck. Okay, so a similar vibe here. We have this camera. Temperance. So temperance, again, another big message from the spirits around balance. So this is like internal balance, the middle way. Find mix opposites, and which can be like maybe that's unifying mind with body, unifying conscious with subconscious, unifying heart and spirit. Um, it asks you to listen within, like you know how to pour these cups equally. You know how to moderate. You know the equal way. It it encourages the middle moderation and an equilibrium. So if this was, and again, we have every time that there's an image of water in these cards, I always like to pay attention to that because water again is around our emotional energy, our
Mm-hmm.
emotional realm, and so that she is standing in water, pouring water, tells me that there's perhaps a lot of emotional energy that you are wading yourself through right now, but that it encourages you to balance it out. Um, Sometimes it's around balancing, like maybe use some of your fire energy and some of your water energy. Don't, like if anger, let's say, if anger is a thing that comes to you quickly, it asks you to just moderate yourself. Or if anger, if you're like me and anger never gets expressed, then it's perhaps encouraging you to, well, you get some anger, babe, but it's encouraging you to tap into that anger, that it is healthy to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But that it's a nice reassuring sign, like you know within you what balance feels like, and so it asks you to maintain that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if Candy is feeling stuck in her own home. Like, in other words, you know how sometimes people have to share space, like when you were living with your brother and sister in law and house full of kids, and that was like, sharing that space and feeling kind of trapped or stuck because they could get kind of crazy and the boys, and so I wonder if Candy is feeling that way or dealing with a situation where they're feeling like they're having to share space with someone that they don't really want to have to, or just feeling kind of stuck in their own home.
Oh yeah,
So I'm wondering if there's something going on there that she needs to kind of work on or acknowledge for herself so she can start to maybe, even if nothing's changing right now, at least have an idea that this is an issue and that
right.
something needs to change. Because I keep thinking, when I think of her, I keep thinking of a client that I talked to a few days ago where they lived with that client and her husband lived with his parents, but they just didn't get along. The
Yeah,
the mother-in-law and the client. So I'm like,
yeah.
I wonder if there's something that feels very similar to that going on with her right now in her home.
Well, in that case, I would say temperance is urging her to moderate between many different, or multiple people and their agendas and their
Yeah,
emotional and their thoughts, and so to, unfortunately, to kind of be the balance point for that, but to know that it's okay to do that, and that may make things flow easier. We're going back to that image of water
yeah,
and emotional energy.
yeah. How can people find you and come to you for a reading, babe?
Well, this has been fun. So come to my website, blainepatricksmith.com. It's on the screen, but it's also BLAINE. I have all of the vowels almost. Patricksmith.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at Blaine Reads Tarot. Again, BLAINE Reads Tarot. And then that will link to my website. And then you can, yeah, I do. I can do. We do hour sessions, half-hour sessions. We can also just do e-reading like this if you just need like a little bit of quick inspiration, or actually, we were talking about our birthdays. That's little birthday read. I've got
Mm-hmm.
smaller versions. I got larger versions. Good as a gift. Like kind of set some intentions for the year. But yeah, I love it, and I also love to be able to see someone across. They're all online, so I can do any time zone, any place, and we get to kind of dig into the cards a little bit more than we've had a chance to here tonight, and see how the cards. I don't know if you can see. There's I got a little camera that you see the full cards and you see the full spread, because it's totally important that we have this conversation around how you interpret them, and I love to be able to help people out in this kind of unique way. So please, if you've got something on your mind that you need a different perspective on, or you want some clarity on, or even a direction, come visit my site and we'll figure it out. I'd love to see you. And Bernalicious, when is your book again? As we see here on the bottom of the screen, do you have a hard copy you can hold up?
It's coming out on my birthday, May 6th, but it's already available for purchase. So go to Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or Walmart, or you can just go to my website, and I have links there, so that way it's easier. So you don't have to go looking for it. But yeah,
look at you wearing the color of your shirt that matches your book title.
Am I?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot, guys. I mean, there is a lot of information in here, and I was trying to merge science with spirituality and creating this book. So it really is a labor of love. It's been a labor of love for years. But Suzanne, the recording of this will be on Facebook. If you go to Facebook after this is done, there should be a link there with it. So. All right, guys. Well, I love you all, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for having me, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed it. This was fun for me.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.